Hello there, friends. This is Vicki from StampedSmiles.com, and I'm happy to be sharing another video with you for Digi Doodle Studios on how I made this really adorable spinner card that you see here. He spins around in the center while he's skating. And I wanted to start by sharing with you how I did this using a digital stamp. I have used my Word doc on my computer, and I used the same size image and I flipped him around as you see over here so that I have two images that are facing opposite directions. I've colored them out with Copic markers, and I've cut them down so they're back to back, and I'm using my light source that you can see here, and I'm trimming it down. Now I'm using my scissors and trimming it down even further with a thin white border on it, and I'm fussy cutting it out. And as I do this, I'm flipping it over, and you can see here how nicely it matches up so that I can get them trimmed down. And here you can see that they're nicely trimmed down just by fussy cutting them out in the opposite direction and using a light source to hold it up so you can place them together. And if you have a scan and cut and you're able to get these images perfectly cut out like that, that's great. I do not have a scan and cut, so I just basically put the paper up to a light source so that I can match the images up as closely as possible and then cut out with them around the light source. So for the spinner card, I am using a side folding card because you don't want your image to go upside down when you're spinning it. You want the recipient to open it on the side. I've also die cut with a rectangle die some winter plaids and patterns paper from Digi Doodle Studios, and I'm going to use that for the front of my card base. I'm taking my ATG gun and just gluing the edges and putting nothing in the center of it because we're going to be working on the spinner mechanism on the inside of the card. I've also die cut another rectangle card base for the inside, and I'm using some temporary adhesive just on the corners of this, and I'm placing it down, and the reason for this is because I'm going to be die cutting through all of these layers at once, and I just thought that it would be easier to do it this way. So you want to make sure that you have this panel lined up exactly where you want it to be before you die cut it, and make sure when you die cut it that you leave it open and you're laying it flat like this when you die cut it. I'm using a circle die cut, and you want to make sure that there's enough around the edge of the image so that your image can spin freely when it moves around before you go and die cut everything out. Here I've got it die cut through all three layers, and if you want you can use the circle image for another project. And now I'm just lifting off the inside panel that I temporarily put down. It probably stuck on there a little bit because I ran it through the die cut machine. But once I've got that taken off, I've taken the extra glue off and set it aside. And for decoration, I have die cut out a scalloped stitch circle frame, and I'm just gluing that and attaching that on the inside circle, or I'm sorry, on the outside circle of my card that I have cut out. Now for the spinner, I have used some silver metallic string here. It's some silver metallic thread. You can use fishing line, you can use very thin twine, anything that's sturdy enough that will be fine for your image that you can keep flipping around in a circle. Now for this part, I'm making sure where I want to put the string on the top and the bottom of the fox. So once I've got that lined up where I think I want it to be, I'm putting some adhesive on the back, and then I'm placing my string. You have to make sure that there's plenty of string at the top and the bottom so that you have somewhere to attach it to the inside of your card. And because this is going to be handled a lot, I am using some score tape here and some very sturdy adhesive to go over top of the string. And then I'm taking the backing off of it, and then on the areas that the score tape will not, it's too thick to work, I'm just using some strong glue adhesive on those areas. And now I can sandwich the string with the other half of the other side of the fox and place him right on top of the other one and sandwich the string in the middle. So now you want to place the fox and the string in the center of your card so that the string is on the inside. And this part's very important. You want to line him up so that he is able to spin around to where he's not touching the edges and the string is pulled tightly before you put the adhesive down on it, because you don't want the string to be moving around while you're trying to flip it. You want him to move freely on your card. So once you've got your adhesive down, make sure that you don't put adhesive all the way to the edge, because remember we die cut a panel out to go on the inside of the card. And then I just took some more glue adhesive to put on the inside of to put over the card panel rather, so that I can place it on the inside of my card and cover up the string for the spinning mechanism. And now we're going to test him out to make sure that he works okay. And so when you go to give this to the recipient, you want to make sure that you spin him around several times, and then you're going to place him in your card just like that and shut it. So when the recipient opens it, it's going to spin around just like that. And so I didn't want the inside of the card to be white behind the fox, so I decided to die cut a little snowflake panel for the inside of the card. I've also printed out a bunch of sentiments from the Snow Days Sentiments stamp set from Digi Doodle Studios. I've elected to use this particular one and die cut it out with a banner. Like it's from My Favorite Things. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a banner from My Favorite Things that I die cut out. And I just cut the edge off that's sticking out over the edge of the card. And I believe these snowflake dies are also from My Favorite Things. And I've cut out 3 of them from some glitter cardstock. And I'm using some glue and just attaching them on the front of my card. And now I'm taking some silver stickles, glitter glue, and filling the centers of the snowflakes, along with placing some extra dots on the outside of the card front to finish it up. And so here's what he looks like when you open him up, and he just spins around in a circle. I hope you've enjoyed my card today, friends. Thanks so much for stopping by.